Your friends are losers. Or maybe losers is the wrong word, but it's really the only word that encapsulates how you view them in your mind. They party, they drink, they don't really do anything to take care of their mental health and, well-being. Apart from weed, of course, because, it improves my creativity. They're very much content with their lives. They're not very interested in improving themselves beyond maybe going to the gym a few times a week. But apart from that, they could not care less. And let me guess, you're not the same as these people. You're different because you know for a fact that the thing that's separating you from them right now is mindset. See, you don't want to be mediocre. You don't want to live the same life as them and everyone else your age. The path of going to school, partying, then going to college, then wasting the entire college years just partying and getting drunk, only to study for your exams at like the last minute, just to get some mediocre job that you hate going to. But your parents think you're successful because that's their view of success, and they pushed it onto you because that's what they wanted when they were younger. But to you want more from life. Because you've heard about self-improvement and improving yourself, you've heard about going against social norms, and the message resonates with you, and in fact, maybe you've actually started taking action. Maybe it's only small progress right now, like going to the gym a few times a week, or meditating for a few minutes a day, but it's progress, and you feel a lot better because of it. As for your friends, not so much. Maybe you've tried to change them, and if you have, props to you. It shows that you genuinely care about their mental health and well-being, and you want them to improve with you. That's great. But nothing's working, is it? No matter how hard you try, they just keep resisting your advice in favor of instant gratification because they've become so accustomed to living this life on a daily basis for years now. And you know that when people are a certain way, it's very, very hard to change them. Because ultimately, for anyone to change, there has to be part of you that wants to. Some people like yourself, they have it. But others, like your friends, not so much. And so how you go about dealing with this is a thing that a lot of guys struggle with, because we all know that the best decision is to ultimately let them go, cut them off, whatever it may be. But it's really hard when, for example, you've known them for years now, for a very long time. And so if you are in this position, which I assume you are since you made it this far into the video, I want to share with you my experience of this and how to shift your mindset to take the final leap and move on for good. You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You've probably heard that right. You are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. You might have thought about that quote quite a lot, which is why you're watching this video. Or maybe you haven't thought about it so much, but you know somewhere deep down that you and your friends just do not match anymore. Which, by the way, is really good awareness to have, and it's something that I didn't even gain till I was about 17. And by the way, I'm 19, so it's only been like 2.5 years. But regardless, chances are you probably don't fully understand the significance of this statement. Because sure, people around you influence your actions. We all know it's basic human nature, basic psychology. But your friends specifically, not your family, not your teachers, your friends, they are the ones who have the biggest impact on your behaviors. And this makes sense because think about it. You're not trying to fit in with your parents. You're not trying to fit in with your teachers. You're trying to fit in with the people who you go to school with, the people who are your age. You're influenced by these people and you want to do what they're doing because you want to, fit in and be cool or popular, which are all things that we have an innate, drive for as human beings. We want to be liked. We want status. With this in mind, I want you to just close your eyes for me and visualize those 5 people. Those 5 people who have the biggest influence on you. Maybe not 5, maybe it's 2, 3, 4, whatever it may be. Just imagine them in your head. Now, I want you to imagine the trajectory of their lives over the next 5 years. Where will they be in 5 to 10 years? And be as specific as possible. Maybe they're in a 9 to 5 that they hate. Maybe they're in a basement playing video games with snacks and fucking drinks everywhere. Maybe they're in their parents' basement literally watching hentai. It could be very disturbing. And however ugly or sad or depressing that it may be, you know for a fact that this is not where you want to be in 5 to 10 years from now. Now take yourself. Picture, where do you want to be in 5 to 10 years? Maybe it's on a beach in Marbella watching a beautiful sunset. Maybe it's you and your dream woman taking a walk in nature together. Or you in the gym with your 10 out of 10 physique, which you've worked incredibly hard to attain over the years. Now, we all know how to get there, don't we? If you just continue doing the good habits and you stay disciplined and you keep working hard and you stay consistent, you can 100% achieve this long-term vision of yours. And so we need to ensure that for you to get there, we need to eliminate pretty much anything that's going to bring you down and stop you from progressing to your goals. Anything that will distract you from what you want to achieve. So with that being said, would your future self benefit from having any of these people in your life? Would he even consider for a second any of these people a worthy friend in his life? Would these people contribute positively to your life in any way? Or would they just bring you down and stop you from progressing towards your goals and actually slow down your progress so that in 5-10 years from now, your vision is not that? Instead, you actually halted your goals and halted your vision in favor of what they wanted from you. All because you were too afraid to let go. And I think we know the answer to this. And this takes me onto your view of friendship. Because most people's view of friendship is, oh yeah, we just hang out together. That's literally it. Most people just deem someone that they hang out with consistently as a friend. And this is genuinely quite sad if you think about it. Because if there's nothing that you can speak about which brings each other up, if there's nothing that you can do with one another that promotes each other's growth, if there's nothing challenging that you're willing to do together, and if you don't have similar goals, then why are you friends with them? Because a true friend should care about your goals, should promote your growth, should encourage you to work harder, should call you out on your bullshit, and should be there alongside you on this journey. They should ultimately be a brother to you. And if I'm correct, your friends are not like this at all. They never actually speak about growth or challenging one another. They never call you out for your mistakes or wrongdoings, and in fact, they actually reinforce them and promote them. You're not friends through purpose or meaning, but instead, you just play the same video game or take the same drug. That's all it is. I'm telling you, this is not a friend. Because would a friend let you take drugs or play video games when you're trying to improve? Would a real friend encourage you to just waste time and stop you from making progress? A friend really comes down to sharing the same goals and values as you do. Because let's think about it. If you were a party goer, you love going partying, you love going clubbing, you would want to be friends with people who go partying and clubbing. That makes sense. Same for like if you smoke weed, you're a stoner. You would want stoner friends. That would just make sense. But obviously in our case, we're not like them. We're on self-improvement. We want to improve, we want to level up. And so it would make sense for us to be friends with people on self-improvement, right? And so this means only one thing. You and your friends are not compatible anymore. That's really all it comes down to. That's just simply how they are, and you just have to accept that they're not going to change unless they genuinely want to. Now, it is very easy to get like angry and frustrated at these people for not wanting to change because you can't really understand it, can you? And I mean, I made this exact mistake. I would sometimes make it very evident that I disapproved of their lifestyle, and don't get me wrong, I did, but it was hypocritical of me because I eventually did fall back into it for a bit, which is a story for another time. But also, I ultimately knew how they felt, because there was a time, and I assume that it was the same for you, well before we discovered any of this. We thought NoFap was cringe, we thought playing video games was good for us, we thought that a good diet wasn't important, or that we were content with being skinny fat, when ultimately, we fucking hated our bodies. But you grow and you have realizations, and one of those for us was that we don't want a normal life. And because I knew how they felt, and because I knew that I couldn't change them, I simply just let them go, because again, we just weren't compatible anymore. Now, even though you've heard everything so far, you might have some limiting beliefs, such as, oh, but I've known them for a long time. Moving on is just a natural part of life. You need to treat leaving friends behind like a new chapter, with no grudges, no negative outlooks, but more just as a realization that you're no longer compatible and stepping forward into a new stage of your life.
Oh, but they're nice people.
Nice does not equal positive influence. I once had a friend who my parents always tell me, and still tell me to this day, that he was the nicest friend I ever have. And I don't blame them, because he was actually a very nice guy. He had really good manners. He treated everyone really well. But we didn't share the same values. He had a different mindset. I had more of a growth mindset. He had more of a content mindset. And so our values didn't align. And so he was a nice guy, sure, but we didn't have similar goals or ambitions. I mean, there's nice people who encourage you to do drugs and go partying. You can have nice people who believe that doing hard work is a waste of time. Just because they're not a complete dick doesn't mean that they're compatible with you. Being nice is a basic trait that everyone should have. If you're nice, it doesn't make you special, and we need to accept that. And then there's, of course, what if I don't have any other friends? And the truth to that is, being alone is better than being surrounded by fucking losers. Think back to the quote earlier. You are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Imagine you cut these people off and your only influences were people online who genuinely had a positive impact on you because they told you to meditate, to work out, and they have the same growth mindset as you. Although you would prefer friends in real life, you would still be a million times off in that situation than keeping these friends around. And honestly, we just need periods of focusing on ourselves and our self-growth, and just ignoring outside influences to become the person that we want to be. We cannot waste time on other people who don't have our best wishes at hand. And that's exactly who your friends are. And honestly, bro, I might sound a bit ranty here, but honestly, if you delete social media right now, would they still message you? Would they genuinely reach out if you delete social media? At the end of the day, they do not care about your goals. They don't want to see you improve. And in fact, a part of them despises you for it because it shows that you're actually trying to improve, you're trying to better yourself, and it makes them envious, it makes them jealous. And remember, jealousy is a very feminine trait and not something that you want from a friend when you're trying to become more masculine. You know, just remember that. So this is your actionable step. Stop hanging out with them. Tell them that you're busy when they message you. Tell them that you've got work to do when they ask you to hang out. Simply just let them know, without being completely direct, that you've moved on. Or you can send a long paragraph about how you're not compatible as friends anymore. But if we think about the kind of people that they are, they probably won't take it in the right way. And so to just avoid this, and from my experience, you're a lot better off just simply saying that you're busy whenever they ask. And eventually, they'll get the hint. It's going to be hard and it's going to feel weird, but trust me, in 6 months from now, you'll look back and it will be one of the best decisions you ever made. And you will make so much more progress than you've ever made before. So thank you for watching. I would really appreciate if you like the video because it spreads the message to even more people who may need to hear it. And helping people is all I intend to do. So if I can do that, it means the world. But for now, keep rising and grinding.